We're in Ljubljana for game day 9 of the Basketball Champions League. The Slovenian champions Petrol Olimpija looking to extend their win streak to 3 games as they welcome last season's finalists Banvit from Turkey. A very good evening from me, Tim Long, and a warm welcome to Slovenia, where the race for the playoffs is beginning to catch fire in a red-hot Basketball Champions League Group C. Petrol Olimpija against Banvit here, and Petrol back in business after a slow start to their first campaign in the competition, looking to close the gap on the playoff places to just 1 win. And Banvit ultimately aiming to go 1 step further than last season and lift the trophy, locked in an incredibly tight battle for the next round. 32 teams split across 4 groups of 8 here. Our focus this evening on Group C. These two have a chance to get a head start on the others who play tomorrow. Rosa hosting Estudiantes, Strasbourg welcoming Medi Beirut, and Ike facing off against Venezia. These fans starting to turn up in their numbers here in Slovenia for this one. And their team desperately need the support of the fans that will show up here. You can see plenty of this arena empty, but those who do turn up very passionate indeed. And their team starting to find their feet in this competition and in this Group C. They've won a couple in a row. It is a quite remarkably tight group. The top 4 all at 5 and 3, including Banvit. They're just 1 win ahead of Estudiantes and Ike, and just 2 wins ahead of Petrol Olimpija, who found some form. Only the bottom side, Rosa Redom, cut off from the top 4. So the spotlight for us here tonight is on Petrol Olimpija against Banvit. The hosts know they're running out of time to catch up in that race for the playoffs, but the positive is they've still got 4 teams they can catch. 6 remaining games starting with tonight, and it's vitally important to take advantage of home games against the teams they're trying to overtake. Here's a look at the Banvit roster, and you look to Gasper Vidmar, key at centre, the number 14, 13.5 points, 7 rebounds per game. Adonis Thomas, the American, a team high 15 points and 5.1 rebounds per game. And Andy Routins, Canadian, is their leading facilitator. Had quite a remarkable performance last week. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds and 9 assists. As for the home team, Petrol Olimpija, it's their centre who's dominant as well. The number 9, Jordan Morgan, team highs of 17.9 points and 8.3 rebounds. And then you look to fellow American Devon Oliver, averaging 13.8 points, 7.5 boards, 3.1 assists and 1.9 steals. They do it all power forward. And then the number 15, Gregor Hrovat, the 23-year-old Slovenian, averaging 10.6 points, 3.7 assists and 1.7 steals per game. We're getting ready for the official introduction of these 2 sets of players. We'll start with Banvit travelling here from Turkey. It's not been quite as dominant a start as it was for them when they finished second in their regular season group last season and then went all the way to the final of this competition. They fell on the final hurdle, losing by just 4 points to Tenerife, 59-63. They beaten Monaco by 9 in the semi-finals. This season, 5 and 3 so far. Lost on the road at Venezia in game day 1. They sparked a 3-game winning streak with an 87-83 home court overtime win over tonight's opponents. The streak was ended with a remarkable 49-48 scoreline at Polish club Rosa Redom, their only win in the competition. They've now alternated wins and losses across their last 4, beating Estudiantes by 2, losing by 15 in Strasbourg, and last week crushing Venezia by 28 on the home floor. Here we go with the introduction of the home team, Petrol Olimpija Ljubljana. 3 and 5 in Group C. They started on a 3-game losing streak, including the 4-point overtime defeat at Banvit on game day 2. A first win arrived at Estudiantes on game day 4, but it was followed by back-to-back defeats for a 1 and 5 record after 6 games. But they've since won back-to-back games, both here in Ljubljana, by 8 over Rosa Redom, and then last week by just 1 over Strasbourg, 78-77. A game in which they had 6 players scoring between 11 and 13 points. What a roller coaster ride of a contest that one was. And what a roller coaster of a ride of a contest it was between these two in Turkey on game day 2. Petrol Olimpija trailed by as many as 18 points, and by 12 in the fourth quarter they came back to tie with 15 seconds remaining, and then to take the lead with 2 seconds remaining before foul shots in the final second from Banvit took it to overtime. The extra period was won 12-8 by the Turks. Not much separating these two teams in terms of their offensive numbers this season in points, shooting accuracy and assists, but Banvit are much bigger on the boards. 4th in the competition for rebounds per game. Petrol Olimpija down in 29th, although the hosts are pretty adept at winning the ball back before it reaches their backboard. They rank joint 9th in steals, Banvit just 28th. The problem for the Slovenians is protecting it when they've got it. A joint 3rd worst, 14.9 turnovers per game. That's 3 more than Banvit on average. They've also got the 2nd worst defence in Group C, conceding 5 points more per game than tonight's opponents. A tough ask for Petrol Olimpija. Then they have to continue to turn it up on defence and on home floor against a very talented, very capable opponent. Your officials this evening from France, Lithuania and Bulgaria. And we're just a few minutes away from getting this one underway. Petrol Olimpija, one of the most successful Slovenian clubs in history. They've won their national title 16 times, including a first title in 8 years last season, as well as winning 20 Slovenian Cups, 6 Yugoslavian leagues and 5 Yugoslavian Cups. And then Banvit, led by that man, Gaspar Vidmar, regular season winners in the Turkish League back in 2014. They fell to 5th the last 3 seasons, although they did win their first ever major trophy last season, beating Anadolu Efes for the Turkish Cup. Here's the starting 5 they go with this evening. I've talked about a few of those players already. Rautins and Vidmar key, but Calayaro also averaging in double figures, as is Tony Taylor for coach Sasha Filipovski's team. We'll get a look at the starting 5 for Petrol Olimpija imminently as well. They're in this competition for the first time. They've spent the last 4 seasons in the Euro Cup, where they failed to progress to the knockout rounds, although they do have a long tradition in Europe's top competitions, winning the FIBA Supporter Cup all the way back in 1994. Here is their starting 5. I've talked about Devin Oliver and Gregor Hrovat. Doman Lorbeck has the potential to be a key player. He had 13 points in last week's narrow win. And their coach for them, Gaspar O'Corran. Three games in a row on home court for Petrol Olimpija, just when they needed them. They've won the last 2. Can they complete the job, make it 3 from 3?
You go do this. Hey, you go this neck. Okay, so you go around and come here, Gape side. Tony, you sprint the other side. Your side is pick. Gape side is low post. We will see how they will cover. That's why I want the feeder.
Such a tight game when these two played each other in Turkey. Petrol Olimpija will be hoping that home court advantage is just that, to give them the edge this time around. Losing that game by just 4 in overtime. They look to the likes of Lorbeck, Jordan Morgan inside, and Devin Oliver, who's been superb over the course of this campaign. But so much talent on that Banvit roster. Gaspar Vidmar standing tall. Of their key players, along with the likes of Adonis Thomas, Andy Rautins and Angelo Calayaro. There is Devin Oliver. A wonderful all-round stat line from the American. He had a double-double in last week's win. Here we go then, the 1994 FIBA Supporter Cup champions against last season's finalists in this competition, The 16-time and reigning Slovenian champions taking on last season's Turkish Cup winners. It's Petrol Olimpija against Banvit live on game day 9 of the Basketball Champions League regular season. The opening tip controlled by Banvit. And here's Tony Taylor finding Vidmar. Vidmar handing the ball off to Ernchel. Routins moving it on to Vidmar again. Vidmar backing in, going to work early on, into the paint. Kicks it back out. Wide open three at the end of the shot clock here, falls short, and the rebound grabbed by Oliver. Provat. Screen going across to the far side from Radulovic. It comes across to this near side instead to Oliver, who takes the outside shot, misses, and Taylor first to the rebound. Fired in towards Vidmar, almost picked off by Oliver. Open three on the far side and a miss again for Banvit, but an offensive rebound. And they make the most of the second chance opportunity. We talked about how key rebounding might be. And Angelo Cagliaro able to profit on their first offensive board. Hung high in towards the big man, Radulovic. And then he turns it over. Olimpija averaging those 14.9 turnovers per game. Tony Taylor on to Ernchel. Routins passing out to the double team to Ernchel, who's going to drive here into the lane. Out of the double team to Gasper Vidmar, who lands a big Banvit blow. Banvit have scored the first 5 points of this one. Lorbeck inside towards Oliver. And Oliver fouled by Vidmar, so he'll go to the line for two. A couple of great passes out of the double team on that last Banvit offense. That was the foul on Vidmar. That sends Devon Oliver to the line, 25-year-old American. 13 points, 11 rebounds last week. And this is his first foul shot. He's been doing just about everything so far in this competition, apart from hitting three-pointers. He's only shooting 21% from downtown, but 59% inside, and great numbers in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Olimpija on the board at least. Cagliaro. Inside to Vidmar, who breaks free, and he finds his man in the corner, and the three rattles out from Ridvan Ernchel. Span back to Oliver, who does shoot a three this time, and he must have heard me because he knocks it down. Devon Oliver, who'd only been shooting 21% from the outside coming in. Taylor. High entry pass to Vidmar, a couple of pump fakes, and he puts it in. Gasper Vidmar dominant down low early on. 4 points already for him. Jan Span. Radulovic looking for the handoff here. Provat. Provat prodding and probing. In towards the foul line. Kick to the corner, three-point shot with a hand in his face from Taylor off the mark, and a foul on the rebound. You see the foul, little push in the back from Bojan Radulovic, who started at centre ahead of Jordan Morgan, who's their leading scorer and rebounder, so Petrol Olimpija have him to come in. Again, the pressing defense from the Slovenians. Passed across to Ernchel on this near side. Gasper Vidmar puts the ball on the floor. Back out, contested three-pointer, fading away. Rebound grabbed by Oliver. Radulovic. Across to the far side to Hrovat. Hrovat driving in, hanging it over the defence. Can't get it to go. Rebound Cagliaro. Tony Taylor. Vidmar in the high post. The handoff to Routins. Routins waiting for movement. Shot clock down to the final 4 seconds here. Cagliaro had it knocked away. He's got to turn and put it up. Goes for contact, doesn't get it. And he doesn't get a piece of the rim either. In the end, a shot clock violation against Banvit. Span. Gets it back from Radulovic. Bounce pass to Radulovic, who hangs it up over Vidmar. Too short. Rebound Routins. Vidmar puts it up. Grabs his own rebound. Back out. Stepping in is Taylor from the foul line. Gets it to go. Tony Taylor up and running. He had an off night last week against Venezia where he was just 3 of 10 from the field. Banvit up by 5 again. Midway point of the first quarter coming. Here is Jan Span around Radulovic. Span from the foul line. Another miss. They'll battle on the boards here. Petrol Olimpija. And Hrovat sends up a wild one. Bounce pass to Vidmar, who stuffs it home. The Turks have takeoff. Gasper Vidmar dominant inside. Timeout called by Petrol Olimpija. Vidmar's second big dunk. That one off the no-look pass in transition from Andy Routins. The takeoff for Gasper Vidmar and a big lead for Banvit.
Hey, if you see, it was this, hey, Carlo, it was here red. Nothing happened. But whenever Span si šel ispod Taylorja, on si je vzel, vidio je pas, ne moramo stati.
Okay. We have 3 small fouls. Next thing, on pick and rolls, they are going aggressive. So be ready to slip. Yes, slip short roll. But this guy must open and this guy must open. They are denying left and right. So we must be cautious. Short roll, jump stop. And corner we want. Keep working, let's go.
So 6 points already for the big man. Gasper Vidmar, 3 of 4 from the field, including 2 dunks, including the one that's forced the timeout. And Banvit 5 of 10 from the field. The hosts, Petrol Olimpija, just 1 of 7 so far. And into the game comes Jordan Morgan. No surprises there. Morgan averaging 17.9 points, 8.3 rebounds, shooting 60% from the field this season. Jan Span across to the far side. They could do with that second field goal here. They're not going to get it. Nowhere near the rim. Here come Banvit in transition. Earnshell across to the far side to Taylor. Tony Taylor again. Looking to work with Vidmar. Inside, nobody went with him. He missed the shot. Vidmar is there, though, to grab the rebound and to extend his tally to 8. Morgan throws a pump fake, then waits for the cavalry to arrive. And Devon Oliver flips it up and in. But a playmaking from the big centre that time. Taylor. Vidmar coming out to set the high screen. It goes to Routins instead. Vidmar moving inside. Open 3 from the corner, knocked down by Cagliaro. Banvit up by double figures already. Petrol Olimpija will turn it over here with a backcourt violation. They just can't get going, the Slovenians. Taylor. Vidmar on the move to set the screen. Taylor goes the other way, drives right down Main Street for the big jam. Double T taking off. Tony Taylor with a thunderous one-handed dunk. Jordan Morgan setting the screen, the shot behind it from Jan Span off the mark. Olimpia just 2 of 10 from the field now. And as far as Banvit are concerned, its high percentage shots are plenty. Dunk after dunk right now, kicking Petrol Olimpia while they're down. Tony Taylor. This time the screen comes from Calayaro, and a foul called. Second on Petrol Olimpia here. 3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Routin's into Vidmar. Vidmar driving into the lane, knocked away, recovered by Earnshell on the far side. Still plenty of time on the shot clock, down to 5 now. Back out, open 3 for Routins, can't make it count. Jordan Morgan the rebound. 12 points the deficit for Petrol Olimpia. They turn it over again, that's 5 I think here in the first. And free underneath to flip it up and in is Ridvan Earnshell. It's coming far, far too easily for Banvit. 20 points in 7.5 minutes here for the Turks. Krovat. Oliver up against Calayaro, turning with the fadeaway. Can't get it to go. Rebound grabbed by Earnshell. Banvit down the floor in transition again. Vidmar couldn't grab the handle on the ball. They'll take the 3 this time. Petrol Olimpia off the mark. They're not doing anything to help themselves right now. They've been suffocated to 6 points in over 8 minutes. Banvit have blown up for 20. Can Petrol Olimpia find a way to stop the rot early on here? Shot clock ticking down. Across it comes to the near side for the open corner 3. Rebound grabbed by Oliver. Final minute and a half of the quarter. Badjim to Morgan, who takes it on from the corner of the paint and knocks it down. That's a start for Petrol Olimpia. First score for their leading scorer. Routins. Earnshell. Calayaro taking up his place in the corner. Earnshell looking to drive in, using that long right limb, and gets contact and will go to the line for 2. That's a problem for Petrol Olimpia. It's a second foul already on Jordan Morgan. So I imagine he will go to the bench here. Damian Kulig has come in for Banvit, but Jordan Morgan, who just hit the last shot from the field for Petrol Olimpia. Well, he has remained on the court for now, the number 9. He had 22 points for them in the overtime defeat to Banvit on game day 2. They'll need him on court for as long as possible in this one. He's rolled into the centre here. And a foul called against Banvit. Morgan had to be careful there. There was a lot of moving as he looked to set a screen. A foul in the end called on Chan Altintig. So still Petrol Olimpia ball. 40.3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. To the bench goes Angelo Calayaro. Krovat. Morgan setting the high screen, receives it in the lane and answers back with a big dunk for Petrol Olimpia. The hosts finally find their gear. Kulig fouled from behind by Oliver. So 12 points the gap from this point. It's certainly doable for Olimpia with such a long time to go. With Morgan on the floor, they seem to have stopped the rot. They're at least trading blows with Banvit, although they do still trail by double figures. A foul called here on Lorbeck. Chan Altintig will inbound, 7.9 left to shoot. Shot clock turned off. Morgan almost came up with a steal. Open three in the corner at the end of the quarter. The Banvit dagger to Petrol Olimpia at the end of the first to go up by 15. Tolga Getchim getting the high fives and the pats on the back from his teammates and the coaching staff. Banvit with plenty of breathing room at the end of one. Still a long time to go in this one, but Banvit have dominated so far. Olimpia 10, Banvit 25 at the end of the first. And just look at the difference in the shooting numbers. 4 of 14 for Olimpia, 10 of 18 for Banvit. And those Petrol Olimpia shooting numbers were even worse until Jordan Morgan came into the game and hit a couple, including that flying dunk.
And close the pocket first. He's sleeping on pick. Close the pocket first. Good hand work on pick and roll. Make small foul. Very important is control the return. Don't allow them. Do not allow them to run. Do not allow them to run.
Even try. Minimal tablet.
Ampak Dinamo že brez handofa ostal na ena. Če zna Olivera, ne vem, Olivera je na 3.
Dobro, ok, može to, ali ne prvi napad sad kad ulazi, ajde.
Olivera ta na...
Zameš tega Tomosa u branku, gremo mu freeze out.
You see Jordan Morgan there, the number 9 for Petrol Olimpia, just to clear up an issue with regards to foul trouble. We saw a graphic saying 2 fouls on Morgan, who unleashed that big one-handed jam there, still on the court after seemingly picking up that second foul, but the stats in front of me are showing just 1 foul on Morgan. So either that graphic was wrong or they've changed it. So no foul trouble at this time for Jordan Morgan, which is a boost for Petrol Olimpia. They still trail by 15 at the end of one. The Slovenians start with the ball. They don't want to let this get too much further away from them. Morgan. Moved across to the far side into Oliver. Oliver looking to attack Adonis Thomas. Oliver backing in, twisting towards the baseline, getting contact. Good aggressive start to the quarter on offense for Olimpia. Adonis Thomas demonstrating Banvit's strength in depth because he hardly played at all in the first quarter. He's one of their key players. Leading scorer, in fact, 15 points per game. Devon Oliver, 2 of 4 from the field in that first quarter, as well as 3 rebounds, 6 points. Make it 7 for him now. And Olimpia need each and every point they can get, even at this stage. And Oliver helps them out with 2 from the line. Kulig. There's a press here by Olimpia. Banvit are able to play out of it to Thomas. Altintig. Ernchal to Altintig to Thomas. Shot clock down to 5 here. Adonis Thomas to the baseline. On to Getchim, flipped up and in by Kulig. Damian Kulig, another key player for Banvit, coming in off the bench, averaging over 10 points. Provat across to this near side to Devon Oliver. Bubnic backing in inside with the shot clock winding down, twisting and turning, throwing it against the underside of the backboard, not able to find a route to the rim. And here come Banvit in transition. This is where they really hurt Olimpia in the first quarter, although they can't put it together on the fast break this time. Saved by Badjim as he's able to get the ball up towards centre court. The foul called on Earnchow, so that's 2 on Banvit in the opening 1 minute and 19 seconds of the second quarter. Morgan waiting for movement from Badjim, bypasses him. Morgan then running interference on the outside, gets inside, hesitation. Kulig stuck with him all the way and denied Jordan Morgan. Banvit with Getjim, the man who hit that corner 3 at the end of the first quarter. He's going to try and hit another one here. Rebound reeled down by Badjim. Bubnic. Deep 3 taken on from the centre, off the mark by Hrovat. So 15 points the gap as it was at the end of the first. Altintik. Kulig coming out to run a bit of interference for him. Here's Thomas. Shot clock down to 5 now for Adonis Thomas, who pulls up with a hand in his face and gets nothing but nylon. 18 the lead for Banvit. Adonis Thomas lands a big blow. Devon Oliver into Morgan. Morgan backing in against Kulig here, puts the ball on the floor, twisting and turning towards the baseline. The tip wouldn't go either. Thomas recovers the loose ball. Kulig from the far side, back to Thomas, who just hit a 3. They move it around to Altintig, and he gets fouled by Bubnic. First foul on Olimpia here in the second. This one at this stage, though, in danger of getting away from them. 18 points was the margin by which they trailed on game day 2 in Turkey in this fixture, and that, after the 3 from Adonis Thomas, is the margin here early on as well. So Petrol Olimpia will have to repeat their heroics against the same opponents in trying to get it back from 18 down.
Nervous all season, okay? Ma jebo vas, će maš zitat, pa umani se pa daj koš u pičku materinu, ej! Vraćate se ko stare mame, ovaj te stiska, pa daj mu kumovcu pičku, zloži ga na tla! Ko da ste se uzrali u gate, jebo vas u pičku materinu! 4 sekunde do konca, 1 na 1 šut u piko! A jebem ti matere! Okay!
Stop the fast break, just stop. We have 3 small fouls. Spend them. Yeah? Spend them. Okay. In offense, let's play chin. We play chin 4. Chin 4. Yes.
Well, Gashborough Corrin absolutely blowing a fuse in that timeout for Petrol Olimpia. We saw a few numbers flash up on screen during that timeout. The hosts shooting just 20% from the field, 4 of 20 so far. And Banvit 57%, 12 of 21. They've grabbed 7 extra rebounds as well. Altintik. Final seconds of the shot clock. Across to the far side, they'll take the uncontested 2 from the corner. Seemed far too easy. That's been the problem at the moment. All of Banvit's attempts seem to be good looks for the most part. Jordan Morgan. Fans trying to get behind their team. Morgan twisting and turning and tormenting and putting it in. He's the one bright spark at the moment for Petrol. Morgan off the bench for the hosts now has 6 points. Adonis Thomas. Earnchow into Kulig. And then flying through with a cut to the basket was Chan Altintik. Again, another good, easy look for Banvit. Petrol Olimpija have to start playing some defence. Morgan takes the long two this time. Not much imagination about that offence, and it fell short. 18 points the gap again. Getchim working behind the frame of Kulig. Backs off, will take his time, working the final 6 seconds of the shot clock here. Getchim kicks it out. Altintig takes on the three. Rebound grabbed by Petrol Olimpija. Morgan in close proximity, flips it up off the glass. Jordan Morgan up to 8 points. 16 points the gap, 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. We're going to have another timeout. Banvit perhaps looking to talk over how to deal with this man. Jordan Morgan, 4 of 7 from the field for 8 points, trying to get Olimpija back in business.
Hey, I wanted to use the clock. Tony Rigon, I want in offense that we use the clock until we find good shot. Yeah, we do not rush. We do not rush.
Dam ti 2 minuti. Dam ti 2 minuti, majstor. Da mi naredite hoćeš, što me važno mislite. Petrol!
Hey, now you are supposed to move. Now you have to...
We heard first from coach Sasha Filipovsky, whose message was quite clear. They're the team out in front. They're the team holding all the cards right now. And they need to just slow it down and control the tempo. Take their time to find the best chances that they can, to limit the time that Petrol Olimpija have to try and eat into what is a pretty sizable advantage. We return off the back of the timeout. Banvit up by 16. They've doubled the scoring tally of Petrol Olimpija in the first 15 minutes. Tony Taylor, who's provided one of the highlight reel plays of the game so far, finding Getchim. There was a dunk contest in the first. We haven't seen any here yet in the second. Kulig to Taylor again. Shot clock winding down. Morgan tries to pick his pocket. Taylor into the paint, puts it up, misses. Rebound wrestled down by Jan Barbaric. And a foul on Taylor. That's 3 on Banvit at the midway point of the second. I'm sure coach Gasparo Koren for the Slovenians would take a 10-point deficit at half-time if his team could work it back to that figure. Just about playing hard on each and every play and seeing where it gets you. There's a long way to get this back, although not if you're going to turn the ball over as willingly as they have done. Adonis Thomas punishing them this time. Span to Morgan. Morgan against Kulig, trying to find room to operate in the paint, and he gets fouled. Hard fall for a man who's playing hard for Petrol Olimpija right now. Two big bodies coming together there. So Jordan Morgan a chance to move to double figures if he can hit both, but he can't. First trip to the line for Morgan, who's 4 of 7 from the field for his 8 points so far. He misses both of them. So 18 points is the difference, which was the case at the end of the first quarter as well. Olimpija have done nothing so far to close the gap. Tintig moving it on across to the far side. Kulig on the foul line had it disrupted. Here they come now with Barbaric. Looking all the way through. Got past Taylor. Caught under the backboard. Will take on a 3 here. And it won't go. Taylor grabs the rebound. Quarterback pass down the floor to Thomas. Banvit doing what their coach asked and taking their time. Kulig setting a screen. Taylor around it, finding Thomas to the corner to get him into the paint, across to the far side. Cooling down to the final 4 now. Cooling missing with a hand in his face from Morgan. Devon Oliver looking to drive coast to coast, falling away though, off balance, wanted a foul, doesn't get it. Thomas gets it back and will shoot the 3. The closeout was almost non-existent. Offensive rebound for Banvit. Getchim through a gap, shooting a long 2. And the rebound grabbed by Morgan. Final 3 minutes of the half. Barbaric. Morgan across to the far side. Behind the back pass to Morgan. It pops up into his hands. Off the circus assist from Jan Span. Double figures now for Jordan Morgan. And Petrol Olimpija back within 16. It was a pretty attempt to find Morgan, but there was a great deal of good fortune about the way he was able to handle it as well. Banvit called the timeout, 16 points the gap, final couple of minutes in the second quarter.
Hey, focus on press situation. Hey, we go. Tony and Andy. Tony inbounder. Andy Gape, we go elbow 2. And you 3-4 space.
Nothing. Da mi ne bi turnover.
Three small fouls right now.
Ej, gremo pro, prvo kar je, vrni se od cona, aj gremo.
We see in that timeout how costly the turnovers from Olimpija have been. 8 points to 0 in Banvit's favour from turnovers. Banvit have got good opportunities running the floor in transition. And for the most part, they have got good looks at the basket throughout. They're shooting 48% from the field, 62% inside. Although those percentages have started to fall for the Turks, and Petrol Olimpijas have started to rise slightly. Still, it's... Oh, there's the steal off the turnover from the inbound pass and put in by Jan Span. So, 14 points the gap. They'll try and come up with another steal as well, although Banvit able to get the ball over centre court. And they back off now, Olimpija, into their defensive shape. Taylor, Routins. Vidmar back out. 3-point shot right on the mark from Tony Taylor. 7 points for him now. 17 the lead for Banvit again. Jordan Morgan. Morgan gets it back from Provat. Looking to attack Vidmar here. Morgan twisting and turning back out to Barbaric. Final seconds on the shot clock. Morgan has to put up the long 2, misses it. And here come Banvit, a chance to make it the largest lead of the game. And that after a couple of scores in succession for Olimpija. It looked like they'd found their feet. The problem is Gasper Vidmar back on the floor, having had a really good rest here in the second. Vidmar hands it off to Taylor. Taylor, who's really started to heat up here. Into Vidmar, at the end of the shot clock, if he's aware, puts the ball on the floor. And there was a whistle, as well as the buzzer for the expiry of the shot clock. It's a foul by the looks of it on Bubnic, and that is a huge blow for Petrol Olimpija. I'm not sure Vidmar was aware the shot clock was at the end. Vidmar on the baseline. Up against Morgan now, getting his body into the paint, missing the hook shot. Morgan to the far side. Home fans trying to get behind their team. 3-point shot, way wide of the basket. Offensive rebound, though, flipped up and in by Provat. 15 points the gap, final minute of the first half. Taylor locked and loaded on the perimeter, although an offensive foul against Banvit. And specifically against Andy Routins. So a chance for Petrol Olimpija to give themselves a little more of a glimmer of hope heading into half-time. They'll have to do so without Jordan Morgan, though, who goes to the bench. Morgan, their leading scorer, on 10 points so far. Span. Krovat hangs it up in the lane, off the mark. Taylor the rebound, if it even touched the rim. Around the high screen of Vidmar. Taylor fades away, misses the mid-ranger. Rebound grabbed by Span. Can Olimpija take advantage this time? Wide open, look for three. Got it. Devon Oliver tickles the twine. Gap closed to 12 here. Shot clock turned off at the end of the second, and a turnover from Banvit as well. Jan Barbaric, the 22-year-old, the number 2 for Petrol Olimpija, has come in and played with real heart here. And he took a bit of contact there. He's provided a bit of a spark in terms of energy and tenacity that was lacking from his team before he was introduced. And he's got his just reward here, forcing the Banvit turnover. So I said about 10 points being the difference that Petrol Olimpija would take at the half, and they have a chance to do just that. 16.5 seconds remaining in the second. It didn't seem as though they would get anywhere near that close a couple of minutes ago. There goes Tony Taylor. If Olimpija are wise here and experienced, they'll hold it for the final shot of the half. Span. Span taking his time and will look to work in these final seconds now. This is where he'll quicken the pace. The screen comes out to the top. Span steps back to take on the three, misses it, and that will do it for the half. So Jan Span off the mark would have made it a single-digit game, but Petrol Olimpija have at least given themselves a bit of hope. They trail by 12 at the break to Banvit, having gone down by as many as 18. Gasper Vidmar dominant early on for the Turks, leads them with 8 points before getting a good rest in the second quarter. And Jordan Morgan leads all players in the game in scoring with 10 so far. In fact, no, because Devon Oliver's 3 takes him to 11, and it's that 3 that's got Petrol Olimpija this close. Olimpija 25, Banvit 37 is the score at half-time. So let's have a look at some of the key numbers from the game so far. Olimpija not shooting the ball very well, but are improving in that respect. Banvit dominant inside, not so from the outside, where they have hit just 5 of 14. Rebounding numbers favouring the Turks, even on the offensive glass at 4 apiece though. Banvit moving the ball better, 3 extra assists in the game. And they've survived those 7 turnovers. I think that 4 on Olimpija is pretty kind from what I've seen. It seems like there's been more from them, but certainly Petrol Olimpija forced a few extra turnovers from Banvit towards the end of the second to try and get them closer, as they came from 18 down to within 12. Here's a look at the leading scorers. Vidmar with 8, Oliver with 11. Span has 4 assists and 4 rebounds and a couple of steals, but missed the 3-point shot at the buzzer at the end of the second, which would have made it a 9-point game. Banvit have really spread their scoring around. 8 for Vidmar, 7 for Taylor, and a group of players on 4 and 5 points after that. Petrol Olimpija 11 for Oliver, 10 for Morgan, and not too much elsewhere for them. They've given themselves a chance for the second half, which takes place in about 10 minutes' time. Do please join us for that. But at half-time, it's Petrol Olimpija 25, Banvit 37.
čestit. Vidmer. Trojka Miljano. Taylor. Prvi tuč. Jordan Morgan. Leta pekala. Leta. Kulik. Trojka Thomas. Jordan Morgan. Jordan. Altintin. Jordan. Jordan Morgan. Thomas. Thomas. Ali pa podaja Špana, mali točki Morgana. Ali pa podaja Špana. Ali pa podaja Špana, mali točki. Iznajdivo. Gregor. Iznajdivo. Živi. Živi.
Welcome back to Ljubljana, where the home team Petrol Olimpija are having to try and come from 12 down here as we get ready to start the second half against last season's Basketball Champions League finalist Banvit. Petrol have won their last 2 games, both on this court, and they have come from 18 down already against Banvit this season to force overtime back in Turkey. The deficit tonight has been as many as 18. They've knocked a third off that to give themselves another shot in the second half and to try and give these home fans something to cheer. And they desperately need the win today to try and keep in touch with the top 4 teams in Group C. They're 2 wins back of the top 4, which includes Banvit, all of them at 5 and 3. Petrol Olimpija starting the day at 3 and 5, and only 6 games to play in the regular season, including this one here tonight. Time for catching up is fast running out. There's Gasper Vidmar, who's been superb so far for Banvit. Had a great first quarter and then rested for most of the second. Vidmar with 8 points, still the leading scorer for the Turks, 4 of 6 from the field. And at the centre on the other side of the floor, Petrol Olimpija's big man, number 9, Jordan Morgan, has 10 points, 5 of 9 from the field for them off the bench to spark them into life. It had started to get away from them before he was introduced, and he helped almost single-handedly to pull them back from the brink, but they're led by the 11 points of the number 5, Devon Oliver, who is at 3 of 6 from the field and has also grabbed 4 rebounds and come up with a steal. Just to the right of your picture, you see Tony Taylor, who's the second leading scorer for Banvit with 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field so far, 5 rebounds as well.
Like we started, we go. Okay. So again,
Jay, if it's nothing, come to another pick and roll. Hey, halo. Dej, pritisni, zdaj kukor se da, pa bolite kurac, šta je sad. Hej, samo pogledaj, hej.
Hey, we pressure 4 times. They lost 3 balls and 1 problem.
So the score as we get ready to start the second half is Petrol Olimpija 25, Banvit 37. An improvement for Olimpija in the second quarter, which they actually won 15-12, but they lost the first quarter by 15, 10-25. And they need to continue their improvement here in the third. Remember, they were down by this exact margin in the fourth quarter of the game between these two in Turkey, and were able to draw level with 15 seconds to play, and even took the lead with 2 seconds to play before Banvit hit a couple of foul shots in the final second to take the game to overtime, and then eventually go on and get the win. Petrol Olimpija need to show that kind of fighting spirit again here in the second half. Vidmar the handoff for Banvit. Andy Routins passes out to the double team. Calayaro to the baseline, forced back. Vidmar calling for it from Taylor. Final seconds of the shot clock. Taylor clings onto it, drives inside and gets it to go. Lightning fast burst from Tony Taylor. He used every millisecond of the shot clock. Banvit by 14. Span the leading facilitator in the first half, that time trying to score himself, and it's put in by Jordan Morgan, who's now up to 12 points as the leading scorer in the game. So 12 points the gap again. Foul at centre court on Span. First on him, first on either team here in the second half. Vidmar looking to set a screen for Taylor. Taylor into the paint, knocked away by Jordan Morgan. Doing a bit of everything for Petrol Olimpija here this evening to try and give them a chance. Here he is on the offensive end. Lays it back high off the window. Wouldn't fall for Oliver though, who then fell himself over the top of the advertising board. Ernschel. Open 3, knocked down by Calayaro. 9 points for him. 3 of 4 from downtown now. Here's the Italian-American. Big 5-point swing there. It looked as though Petrol Olimpija were going to close the gap to 10, and all of a sudden it's 15. Nice bounce off the front rim that time, though, for Devon Oliver. 13 points to take over Morgan as the leading scorer. And the gap is 13 as well. Routins. Vidmar rolling inside, receiving the ball up against Oliver. He's got the mismatch, but he's called for a travel, with Devon Oliver playing smart and pulling the chair almost from underneath him. Look at the way he tries to back in, and Oliver backs off and forces that extra bit of footwork. 13 points the gap, and a chance to close it down to 10 or 11. Aggressive move inside. Well done, Domen Lorbeck, his first score. So 11 is the difference. A little bit more fight being shown from Olimpija here in the second half. Vidmar's handoff to Routins. He's got a teammate on the move to the far side, but he clings on to it, Andy Routins. High catch in the corner, back to Taylor, who was looking for Vidmar. Shot clock winding down. Routins puts up the 3 off the front rim, and handled by Span as Morgan clatters down on the deck. Morgan across to the far side, getting in the way of his teammate on the perimeter to create some room, and the 2 makes it a 1-digit game. Lorbeck with back-to-back field goals, and Petrol Olimpija back in business. The 2 number 15s colliding at centre court, almost forcing a turnover. 3-point shot from the corner is good for Angelo Cagliaro, 4 of 5 from downtown. That one under pressure as well, and alleviating pressure that had been building on Banvit's lead. Second foul on Andy Routins. Stopping Domen Lorbeck, stepping down the baseline. Lorbeck, who's got 4 points already here in the third after not scoring in the first half. Span to this near side, defense up in the air. Hrovat around it to the baseline, trying to hang one in. Morgan battling for the board, coming away with it up against Vidmar. Across to the far side, and Oliver's outside shot had a bit too much on it. Routins to Vidmar. Morgan trying to reach around the outside. He's winning that battle right now, Jordan Morgan. His teammates need to step up and help him out. This man has been doing just that so far. Flipped over the head by Oliver. Morgan flying in again. They wanted a call in their favour. Instead, Banvit coming down the other end to try and punish them. But it's Span who comes away with the rebound. Wide open 3. Hrovat, can he knock it down? Yes! Petrol Olimpija getting revved up. They have closed the gap to single digits again. Timeout called by Banvit. Hrovat, who was just 1 of 7 from the field before this one.
Hey, we need to play defense. Let's play defense. However, pick cannot too easy inside. And then you have to go vertical switch and you have to box out bigger. Make a foul with Herbert. Listen. If we have fast break, fast. If we don't have fast.
Hey, take on ball. Penetration. Stop it. Vertical switch all by excellent. Pass, Carolial overhead. Hey, even more. Offense. Hey, no side. Nova, they switch. Hey! Nova, they switch with Oliver. Oliver, pass here, post up.
So Petrol Olimpija Ljubljana have closed an 18-point gap down to 9. Jasper Vidmar, dominant in the first quarter, has been overpowered by Jordan Morgan here in the third. Morgan, one of two in double figures for Petrol Olimpija, 12 for him, 13 for Oliver. But significantly, it's the other players stepping up that's really taken their game to the next level. 4 points here from Lorbeck in the third, and a big three from Provat that forced that timeout. Taylor to Vidmar. Ernchel. Routins on to Vidmar, up against Morgan again. And a foul called this time on Jordan Morgan. That is just his second foul. We thought at one point in the first quarter he had two, but that wasn't the case. So just two on Morgan. Vidmar up against Morgan again, trying to take him on. He dropped the ball as he backed in. And which way is the call going to go? Those two coming together in a real heavyweight battle. The two big centres in a right old tussle here. And then their teammates piling the bodies down on the deck. Petrol Olimpija are showing plenty of fight now at the midway point of the third quarter. They forced the turnover that time on Jasper Vidmar. So 9 points the difference, a chance to make it even closer here. Span. Provat across to the far side, gets it back. Morgan on the move, running interference. 3-point shot, falls well short. Picked up by Oliver, it didn't touch the rim, so they've got to get a shot away here at the end of the shot clock. Contested three, and that one was short as well. So again, it's a shot clock violation. Tony Taylor. Vidmar setting the high screen and then rolling inside. Taylor clings on to it. Ernchel. Vidmar coming out to set a screen again. Morgan there helping out. Knocked away and out of bounds. 4.7 on the shot clock as Lorbeck got his palms to it. So not much room for Banvit to operate in here. Ernchel will inbound. They've definitely turned it up on defence, Olimpija. Taylor trying to turn it up on offense, misses the outside shot. Rebound grabbed by Span. Taylor's down hurt. Petrol Olimpija will play on though. Span over the top of the defense, gets it to drop. 7-point ball game. And now they will see to the injury of Tony Taylor, who went down after taking on that three. May have twisted the ankle and didn't get back up at all in transition, so that's a blow for Banvit. He looks to be in some considerable discomfort. One of their key players, Tony Taylor, who has 9 points so far, 6 rebounds as well. A bit of concern on the Banvit bench. And on court for Tony Taylor, who is averaging 11.8 points, 2.8 assists per game this season. He had a game-high 24 when these two met in Banvit on game day 2. So Taylor will hobble away, and looking at those images, I can't imagine he will play a further part. So Banvit have had their 18-point lead cut to 7. And now have lost one of their key players. In comes Tolga Getchim, 21-year-old Turk. But the number 21, Tony Taylor, limps away to the locker room. Altinti. Routins onto Vidmar. Vidmar looking to attack, gets inside and stuffs it home. Just to stem the flow of the Petrol Olimpija momentum. Span. to Lorbeck. Lorbeck lost the ball here and a chance in transition for Routins going all the way through. 4 quick-fire points for Banvit. And they're back ahead by double figures. Off the back of an injury to one of their key players, they step up and give themselves breathing room again. 13.5 minutes to play, 11 points the gap. A good bit of time for Olimpia to turn this around still. They have to keep playing as hard as they've played over the first 7 minutes of this quarter. Span fires it into Oliver. Oliver had his pocket picked that time by Cagliaro. Here come Banvit again onto the baseline. Cagliaro misses the shot. Here comes Oliver in transition now for Olimpia. Morgan trying to get his hands to it down on the deck and does. Across to the far side. Span for 3. No. Oliver the rebound. They have to calm themselves down here. Wide open 3 for Lorbeck. Short. And they're not helping themselves out. Olimpia with these open misses right now. With their outside shooting in particular, they are just 3 of 16 from 3-point range for 19%. And as I say, several of those have been very good looks. A timeout called by coach Gasper O'Corran. Olimpia trailing by 11.
From short roll, pizda va materina e. But you can still make a small foul. This is one. And second, layup. Put them fat pizda. Put them 5 for 5. Now they are without Taylor. You can be even more aggressive. Offensively. Hey. Offensively. Roll the ball. Roll the ball from the offenses around. Okay.
Don't lose concentration because of some flopping, grabbing, and shit talking. Yeah? Stay. Hey, in offense. All right, let's go. Lorbeck, he's coming. Yo. Huh? Let's go. Haydi.
So Petrol Olimpia have certainly had their chances to make it closer than it is, but still very much in this game, down by 11 points. They got it briefly on a couple of occasions to within 9, even I think to within 7, before Banvit scored 4 points without reply. Routins thought about the 3, working with Vidmar, bypasses him to the far side to Getchim, and he gets fouled by Hrovat. Second foul on Gregor Hrovat, the Slovenian. Nobody in the game has picked up 3 fouls yet. Vidmar to Getchim. They back off him. Getchim misses the 3. The room created by Vidmar's screen. Oliver to the far side, gets it back, thought about the 3. Forced away and then knocked away. And allowed to pick up the ball in the backcourt. Shot clock still with 10 seconds on it. Oliver trying the bounce pass through to Morgan. And he's called for the offensive foul. Travelling like a freight train down the centre. He just ploughed over the defence in front of him. And Petrol Olimpia are lacking that composure now on offence to get them back into this game, you feel. Banvit just look the more well-drilled, well-oiled machine for the most part. Still a long way from being over, though. A foul called then on Jan Span. Span picking up his second. Oliver, just before that, had become the first player in the game to move on to 3. Olimpia are at the foul limit for the quarter, though, so Banvit at the line with Andy Routins. So for all of Petrol Olimpia's promise and hard work in this third quarter, they're actually trailing by more than they were at half-time now. 12 points at the half, 13 points with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining in the third as Routins goes to the bench. Span. Throwback looking to attack from the near side, then gives it back to Oliver. Morgan's handoff to Span. Morgan trying to get inside. Span had his pass disrupted. Still going to be Olimpia ball. Eight seconds remaining on the shot clock. 1.5 minutes in the quarter. Throwback bounce pass inbound to Oliver, who got fouled and will go to the line. Damon Oliver, 13 points, 8 rebounds and a steal so far this evening, although just 4 of 10 from the field. He'll go to the line for 2 here. He's 3 of 4 from the stripe so far. Make it 3 of 5. Olympia need each and every point they can get right now. They can't afford to be missing foul shots. He does get the second. They're only 4 of 8 from the line as a team, though. 12 points the gap. Final minute and a half of the third. Back in comes Ridvan Earnschau. Adonis Thomas in the game as well for Banvit. Haven't seen too much of him this evening. Thomas. Getchim. Kulig. Across to Thomas. Thought about the 3. Back to Getchim. Disrupted by Morgan and caught on the baseline by Oliver. Span to Hrovat. Can they find a way back into this game again? Morgan twisting on the baseline and putting it in. It seems to me that if he's firing, Petrol Olimpia are firing, and if he's not, well, they won't stand a chance in these final 11 minutes. 10 points the gap. Getchim out to the corner for the 3, off the mark. Morgan the rebound. Here goes Oliver. Back to Span. Can they make it a single-digit game again? Badjim. Morgan wants it on this near side, looking to back in and go to work perhaps. Knocked away though by Caloyaro. Still 8 seconds on the shot clock. The ball out of bounds. Still in Petrol Olimpia's possession. There's about 11 seconds remaining between shot and game clock. Quick catch and shoot for 3 from Span. They continue to struggle from the outside, but they grab the offensive rebound. Span, they could really do with a score here at the end of the third to give them hope in the fourth. Span getting inside, riding all kinds of contact. Morgan knocked to the floor. And it's still going to be Petrol Olimpia ball. They're trying their best to get within single figures. But so far, to no avail. Only 1.9 remaining on the shot clock. And then there'll only be 1.7 remaining on the game clock. So a couple of seconds to get the ball and to take a shot. And that will do it for the third. And Petrol Olimpia could really do with it going down. Instead, they turn it over as Oliver tries to find Hrovat moving underneath. And they do it without taking any time off the clock, so it's a double blow for them. Banvit have 3.6 seconds to try and score. They hit one right at the end of the first quarter. Kulig, time to advance the ball, although he's not in a hurry to do it, and didn't even get it away in time. Not really sure what was going through the mind of Damian Kulig that time, but Banvit still lead by double figures at the end of 3 quarters. The lead 51-41 in the Turks' favour. Let's take a look at the comparison between the two teams. Olympia certainly have been improving in every aspect apart from the three-point shooting, where they're now 3 of 17 for just 18% from downtown, and that's what's really killing them. Even if they got less than 30% to go from three-point range, they'd be within maybe 3 to 6 points of Banvit. Instead, they're down by 10. Still, remember, they came from 12 down in the fourth quarter to get themselves ahead in this fixture in Turkey, so they have hope. Banvit knocking down a few of their outside shots, though. They're at 33% from the outside, 7 of 21. This was a rare one for Petrol Olimpija from Provat, which got them within single figures and forced a Banvit timeout. Span attacking inside. Jay Span has 4 points, but only 2 of 12 from the field.
We need to spread the zone. We need to spread the zone and play also pistol down. 5 rotate and pistol down.
Hey, Maestro, we run one. We need two. Hey, we need two.
So they have to still believe Petrol Olimpija, but it's a tough ask from here. Start of the fourth quarter. Olimpija 41, Banvit 51. Eltintic. Thomas. Eltintic. Kulig setting the screen. Eltintic missing the shot. Badjim the rebound, so this is where they have to start trying to chip away at this 10-point lead. Oliver. Across to Badjim. Badjim out to Oliver, who takes the static 3 and misses it. So 3 of 18 they are now from the outside. Thomas. Getchim. Kulig trying to create room for Getchim. Thomas. Final seconds of the shot clock here. Passes out of the double team to Kulig. Knocked away, recovered by Morgan. Can they take advantage this time? Badjim into Morgan. Hesitation inside, and he puts it in. 8-point game with 9 minutes to play. 16 points for Jordan Morgan. Eltintic. Back to Getchim. Getchim stepping inside, passing over the top to Kulig, who puts it in with the contact mid-air. Damian Kulig. The third foul on Provat. And just when Petrol Olimpija got themselves within single figures, a chance now for Banvit to go up by 11. Second field goal for Kulig. Can't complete the three-point play, though. Oliver. Looking to work with Morgan, the two star players for Petrol Olimpija. Back it goes to Provat. Provat looking to attack final seconds of the shot clock. Difficult shot, tracked all the way by Thomas. Getchim. Out comes Kulig, Getchim around him. Back to Kulig. Across to the far side it goes to Eltintic. Final seconds on the shot clock for Banvit as well. Getchim fires the 3, misses it. Morgan trying to fly in for the rebound, knocked to the floor again. It's going to be Petrol Olimpija ball though. Just about clinging on and keeping themselves in the fight here. But they have to start chipping away and taking advantage of these defensive stops. They've got a big opportunity right now with Gasper Vidmar off the floor They're not making the most of it. He's come in now, Vidmar. Deep three. Short. Will it bounce for them? Yes, it will. A huge slice of good fortune that perhaps gets Petrol Olimpija back in with a chance. Badjim's first score. 7 points. The difference with 7 minutes and change remaining. The foul called over on the far side on Lorbeck. There's the second on Olimpija in the quarter and the second on him personally. Well, it bounced off the front rim, the backboard and the back rim, but they will take it. Is that going to be an offensive foul? Yes, it is. Against Can Altintig. So, a chance for Petrol Olimpija to get as close as they have been since the first quarter here. They could close the gap to 4 or 5 off this turnover. Oliver gives it back to Bob Arich. Inside it goes. Morgan is there, pulls up mid-range, blocked from behind by Thomas, recovered underneath by Oliver. Petrol Olimpija within 5. I'm not quite sure how they've done it. Banvit have just taken their foot off the gas and they're getting punished. There's been nothing special from Olimpija really, but somehow from 18 down they're within 5 points. So heavily reliant on Oliver and Morgan. Oliver now has a double-double, by the way. 16 points, 10 rebounds. Morgan 16 points, 7 rebounds. Third foul, though, on Oliver. And third in the quarter on Olimpija. Out goes Adonis Thomas. Vidmar. To Getchu. Across to the far side, they thought about the three. Stepping inside is Altintig. Across to the corner, nice ball movement from Banvit, but over the top of the backboard. Almost went over the top. Still a chance in transition for Olimpija. And Banvit getting back well. Can they make it a one-possession game here? Devon Oliver. Backing in. Kicking it back out, 3-point shot is right on the mark from Rocco Badjim. Olimpija get back within 2. Would you believe this fourth quarter comeback from 10 down and trailing by as many as 18 in the game. They hit 3 of their first 17 shots from the outside. They've hit their last 2 and they have closed the gap.
Hey, defense, we have 3 small fouls. Stay under control. In offense, patience. When we find open shot, we need rebounding. We need low post game. We need low post game.
Don't you bolju poziciju da šuta.
Lorma,
Fist side.
fist side, babo. Ali ako nema šuta, polako uzmi pick and roll. Hey, okay. Hey, Barbarić, polako, počasi imamo čas, ajgremo.
So Petrol Olimpija, 3 of 17 from downtown, around 16 or 17% from the outside before Badjim steps up here down the stretch and hits 2 in a row. The first off the hop with a bit of good fortune, the second right on the mark. Rocco Badjim, the 20-year-old Croatian, has helped get Petrol Olimpija within 2 points of Banvit from 18 down. Let's see if they can continue the turnaround off the back of this timeout. The officials checking something before we get back underway. Maybe whether it was a 2 or a 3. Let's see. Certainly doesn't seem to have a toe on the line there. And the 3 should count for Rocco Badjim. Averaging 7.4 points per game this season. He's got 6 off those 2 shots here in the 4th quarter. There's only 2 shots off the game so far. So Petrol Olimpija 51, Banvit 53. 6 minutes to play. They've closed it in the space of 4 minutes from 10 down at the start of the quarter. Can Banvit get back on track? Routings. Vidmar looking to drive in here against Morgan, twisting against him and shooting over the top of him. That's been a wonderful battle all night long. Gasper Vidmar with his first score in a long time. Morgan. Morgan back to Badjim, the man who's got the hot hand right now, takes on another but misses. Just feeling full of confidence, Rocco Badjim, but that gives Olimpija a chance to create a little bit of a cushion. Vidmar gets him. Final 5 minutes, and it goes to Routins. Back out to the far side to Altintig. Shot clock down to the final few seconds. He gets fouled with just 1.7 remaining on the shot clock. There's been a few of those for Olimpija to have to take. The left leg knocking him off balance of Jordan Morgan. Although Lorbeck picks up the foul, his 3rd. Olimpija 4 already. That's the concern here in the 4th. Any foul from their defence for the rest of the game now will send the Banvit offence to the foul line. Far side bounce pass off the mark for Vidmar, and Banvit turn it over. Slovenian fans finding their voices now. Aggressive attack from Barbaric, although a wild attempt at the end of it. Another youngster gallantly trying to take the game to Banvit, but to no avail. Again, they seem to have just lacked that composure on offence. There's been a number of rushed opportunities when you feel if they'd have taken their time, they could have been a lot closer, probably ahead. Tintig back to Getchin, across to the far side. Corner 3 won't go. Recovered on the baseline by Badjim. The 20-year-old with a pass out to the 22-year-old Barbaric. Morgan directing traffic as Badjim moves across to the far side. Oliver looking to attack. To the foul line, back out, shot clock down to the final few seconds. Lorbeck puts it up off the front rim. Morgan trying to get to the rebound, instead coming away with it is Routins. And this is where Banvit seem a little more experienced. Moved into Vidmar. Vidmar up against Morgan. Backing in. Good hands on the far side from Badjim to force the turnover. Oliver calling for an unsportsmanlike foul. It is the 3rd foul on Routins. I think it's just going to be a standard foul. Vidmar trying the no-look pass, and Badjim blocking the passing lane. So the 20-year-old having an impact on the offence and defence for Petrol Olimpija. We've got a timeout for the home team, trailing by 4 with 3.5 minutes to play.
It's fast break, it's nothing. You have to do something, Kane. We are shooting crazy things after last second, Kane. Hey, defense. Defense will win. It's a low result. Close the fucking basket. Rebound. Red is red. No stupid foul.
Head to rotate. Head to rotate, Tolga. Like this, and you You sleep and you sleep. Angelo here. So I want sleep. Nothing second way.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
I do apologise for the unsavoury language during that timeout, but the passion on the two benches undeniable. At the moment, Petrol Olimpija have got themselves so close from so far away, within 2 points, now at 4. And they'll try and close the gap to make it a one-possession game again here. 3 and a bit minutes remaining. Provat, and a foul against the offence off the back of the timeout. That's a big blow for them. Moving screen from Morgan. Into the game comes Tony Taylor, back from that injury. And out goes Getchim. So really good to see Taylor back from a neutral perspective, having twisted his ankle in the third quarter. Vidmar coming out to try and create some room. Across to the far side it goes to Calayaro. Vidmar looking to come out again. Deep three off the mark. Vidmar is there for the big offensive rebound. Can he score? Yes, he can. Got in between 3 Petrol Olimpija players to do so. Banvit by 6. At the moment, it looks like a case of so close but yet so far for Petrol Olimpija. What a turning point it could be in their season if they could come from behind here. Lorbeck off the mark with the 3. But they're letting it get away from them. Tony Taylor seems to be moving okay on that ankle as he drives inside and blazes right through the defence to score. Banvit back ahead by 8 points. And Olimpija running out of time. Timeout called by Petrol Olimpija with just a couple of minutes to play.
Vidmar is 50% free throw shooter or less. So when he is in position to score, go on the ball on his head, he will go to free throws.
We go. Think about this. Head 5. No head 5. But do this precise. Comes pick and roll, try to attack.
We have 2 small fouls. Here, you 2 get the ball against press.
Hey, let's go, man up, let's go, come on.
Let's finish this.
Well, the call from the Banvit bench is let's finish this now. They've opened the door for Petrol Olimpija in the second half, having led by 18 early on and by 12 at the half. Despite the best efforts of Jordan Morgan, the lead is still 8 points. Morgan 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. Another big game as well from Devon Oliver, 16 points, 10 rebounds. Although Olimpija have it all to do. They need a score off the back of this timeout as it goes into Morgan. Morgan up against Vidmar. Trying to create some room, gets around him, finger roll, falls for Jordan Morgan, 18 points. Olimpija still have to believe. Vidmar left unguarded in the high post. They knew he wouldn't shoot the 3. Petrol Olimpija in need of a defensive stop here to try and generate some kind of momentum. Taylor. Vidmar calling for it. Taylor goes alone. Pirouette in the paint. Shot falls short. Morgan wrestles down the rebound. Minute and a half remaining. 6-point game. Here goes Span inside. Morgan trying to grab the rebound over the top of Vidmar and then gets fouled by Calayaro. Well, Span missing the shot. And he's now just 2 of 13 from the field. But Morgan bailing him out with the rebound. Provat to get the ball in. Lorbeck down the baseline, got fouled, and he was so close to arching his back to put it in. Fourth foul on Andy Routins. Both teams in a position whereby any foul now from either defence will send the opposition offence to the line. Domen Lorbeck, who didn't score in the first half, has 5 in the second, a chance to add another and a chance to make it a 4-point game with a minute and change remaining. And he does. Banvit have plenty of work to do yet. Tony Taylor fouled at centre court by Hrovat, who's not happy with the call. He picks up his 4th, and they send Tony Taylor straight to the foul line. Taylor's first trip to the line today. He's 5 of 11 from the field for 11 points. He's also grabbed 7 rebounds and come up with a steal. He hits the first without a problem, despite the best efforts of the Slovenian fans, trying to direct those jeers and whistles towards him. So the gap once again is 6 points. A couple of cheap points given away by Petrol Olimpija. Morgan setting the high screen, moves inside. Span back to Oliver, who takes on the 3. It's way wide of the basket, and this time Banvit grabbed the loose ball. Taylor across to Vidmar. Taylor taking precious seconds off the game clock. Then driving inside, clinging onto it. They'll look to work in the final seconds of the shot clock. Routins the crossovers, finds the free man in the corner. Altintig so composed, misses the shot though. Vidmar. It'll come back here for Petrol Olimpija in transition. Hrovat trying to throw it up. He'll go to the line for 2. So a chance to make it a 4-point game with 28.3. Third foul on Taylor. Just a reminder again of how much action there was in the closing seconds when these two met in Turkey. Petrol Olimpija tying level with 15 seconds remaining, going ahead with 2 seconds remaining. And then Banvit tying level in the final second. Big foul shots for Gregor Hrovat. Petrol Olimpija have been let down mainly by their 3-point shooting tonight, as well as some of their decision making, but also from the line, where they only made 4 of their first 8, although they have made their last 3 to make it 4 in a row. So it's a 4-point game, 28.3 remaining. Chan Altintig to inbound from the baseline. And a full start. The officials not happy with something here. Morgan on the bench with seconds to play. They just want a foul to stop the clock. Petrol Olimpija, the 4th on Devon Oliver. So Banvit walks straight down the other end of the floor to shoot free throws. What you want is to force the ball into the hands of somebody who's not so good from the foul line. That's what Petrol Olimpija are trying to do with their press and their man marking off that inbound pass. The man they've sent there is Tolga Getchim, who hits the first. Getchim, the 21-year-old, makes both of them, so 6 points it is again. Span. They need quick offense here, Petrol Olimpija. 3-point shot for Lorbeck, won't go down. Can they grab the rebound? They can. Provac gets the defence up in the air. Did he get fouled on the three-point shot there? He turns around on his knees and looks at the referee, who says no. And Banvit attack quickly down the other end of the floor. And will go to the line, and that will seal the deal. Oliver fouling out with 2.9 seconds remaining. On 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. And Banvit will go to the line to put this one to bed. It's been a night of missed opportunities, you feel, for Petrol Olimpija. They've lacked poise on offence. And they've lacked poise on the perimeter. Just 5 of 24 from downtown for 21%. And it would have been worse than that had it not been for the 20-year-old Rocco Badjim stepping up to hit 2 in a row here down the stretch in the fourth. Angelo Caloiaro out the line. One of 3 in double figures for Banvit. And that will do it. Banvit continue their playoff push, move to 6-3. But it wasn't without a bit of a scare down the stretch as Petrol Olimpija came from 18 down to within 2 before Banvit opened up a gap again. They had 14 points apiece from Vidmar and from Caloiaro. They win it by 8 in the end, 65-57. 13 points as well for Tony Taylor, the other player in double figures for Banvit. Good to see him back on the court after an ankle injury earlier in the half as well. And all smiles now. They didn't have a whole lot else apart from the 41 points combined of Vidmar, Taylor and Caloiaro. But a defensive effort sees them through, allowing just 57 points, and those terrible shooting percentages from Olimpija, including 21% from downtown where they were really poor. Despite winning the rebounding battle, Olimpija, and by 9 on the offensive glass, they lose the game. Banvit had come in as the better rebounding team in the competition. Banvit also surviving 15 turnovers. Olimpija improved in a number of areas, protecting the ball and rebounding the ball based on their previous form this season, but still lost the game, and that was because they shot the ball so terribly. The only player that didn't really was Morgan, the big centre, who finished with 18 points and 9 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field, 3 steals for the centre as well. Oliver guilty of half of their turnovers, but had 16 points, 10 rebounds before fouling out. He was 5 of 13 from the field. Banvit far more efficient in their shooting. Vidmar 7 of 10. Caloiaro 4 of 10. Taylor 5 of 11. It was a really good contest, this one. Petrol Olimpija giving themselves too much to do, though, with a poor first half display, especially the first quarter, which they lost by 15. They were always playing catch-up from that point on, and they couldn't quite do what they did in Turkey on game day 2 when they came from 18 down to force overtime. This time from the same margin of deficit, they got within 2 but couldn't take that final step, and Banvit able to see off their challenge in the end to win this one by 8. The final score, Petrol Olimpija 57, Banvit 65. It's been a pleasure having your company in Ljubljana. From me, Tim Long, it's goodbye for now.